I am so sorry. I apologize in advance and in past tense for any person who I have recommended the universe guru to, and not because the things that she was teaching were wrong, but more so because of the changes and growth that she's growing through in her life, and how they no longer resonate with the direction that I'm going. And I've seen a couple people now talk about this on YouTube, and it kind of tripped me out because I was thinking all of this in my head. And I was like, no, it's probably just me. Like, I'm probably just the only one who feels this way. My ear is ringing. It's like, I'm the only one who feels this way. No, I'm not going to say anything. And then for whatever reason, my phone like showed me someone talking about how they noticed a change in the universe guru. And I was like, oh, snap. Okay, I'm not crazy. It's not just me. Now, I'm coming into the universe guru world a much different way than some of the people that I had seen come to the universe guru. I was not a high achieving woman who was struggling to find like love and develop certain things in that way. I wasn't high achieving to begin with. I had been chronically fatigued and really struggling physically, and had found out 2 years ago that I was a human design projector. And so I was watching as much human design projector content as I could, and I happened to find hers because she was a projector and she was talking about projector magic, projector success, and like because she seemed so successful, she had a home, a family, a husband. She seemed like she could stay home every day and regenerate her projector system, which is something I was seeking to do. And so, of all the projector people that I had watched, she seemed to be posting the most consistently from other projectors that I was watching, which, I mean, maybe should have been a telltale sign that maybe she was pushing her projector energy a little too much, because projectors are meant to rest quite a bit amount of the time. But to me, it was like, well, she must be really regulated. She must just really be honoring her flow, etc., and so on. I don't want to get too far into that, but I really wanted to like preface all of what I'm about to share with the fact that I didn't go into her field looking for like love advice, relationship advice, because I was achieving well in business but not finding like success in love. I was looking for her advice as a projector, and then slowly just kind of started listening to more and more of her content because I was like, oh, she's a successful projector, and projectors are here to be successful. So she's doing something right, so I should listen to what she says. I will say that, what year are we in? 2024? Not most of 2023 was I really listening to her. I will say most of 2022. Yeah, because that's when I found out I was a projector. So, like, heavily 2022. Yeah, because I found out right after I got married. 2022, all of 2022, and maybe a little bit of 2023 was mostly when I was watching her. And I was watching a lot of her content, but I wasn't. I was watching all her old content because she already had so much stuff on her channel. So I was just going through all the old things, and like, I was like, oh, this is how you should do relationships. This is how you should do money. This is what your perspective should be. Because I was seeing a successful projector. I wasn't making her my end all be all, and I wouldn't recommend doing that with anyone. And she was simply another tool in my tool bag. And I took the things that resonated with me and kind of tried to do the things that didn't, because I thought maybe I was just feeling resistance, and then really let go of things where I was just like, that's just not for my path. That's not for me. What I will say has been really interesting for me in experiencing her was learning all of these things, like about the rotational dating, which I completely agree with. I agree with honoring your body as a woman. I agree with waiting to do a lot of the things that a lot of us aren't taught to do in America. I really enjoyed a lot of the Eastern principles that she was bringing to the West. That information can be gathered from many a place. That information can come from books, it can come from documentaries, it can come from your own study of anthropology. I just happen to be getting all this information from her. I really agree with rotational dating. I agree with like wanting a man to be able to provide for you and have that polarity within a relationship. I believe in having like a healthy family life and a happy relationship life, happy job. Like, all those things should align just naturally. That's kind of what we're here to do on earth, is to be happy humans and to be able to assist others and assist the earth and just kind of, move more towards peace. And I want to say it was probably just it was in 2023 that I was like struggling because I had already watched all her old content, And so then it was like I was catching up, and now I was able to catch up on like lives and new videos, and some of the new stuff she was posting for 2023. I just struggled to resonate with it. But I kept listening because I was like, well, I'm already kind of, it's kind of almost like I'm already kind of committed to like this person, and she's offered so much free content, so why not watch it? But I will say probably about September of last year is when I started realizing, okay, it's kind of getting harder to like resonate. It's getting harder to understand. Now, I'm not saying this to say that that means that she's a bad person. It means her frequency is changing because she's been saying that, and my frequency is changing. And not everyone's on the same wavelength and frequency all the time. And people who come into your life aren't always supposed to be there for the entirety of the rest of your life. They're there for a season. For me, every time I was looking for like a feminine embodiment mentor, whenever I would go to their websites to see what courses they offered and saw the price tags, I was like, okay, clearly that's not going to happen for me. And it would make me feel bad for a little while, but I really just let it go and learn to value the information I could take, try and implement that first and see what works and see what doesn't. And I want to say right after I bought her book last year, because I did buy Lady Balls, because I was like, that's a way that I can learn a bunch of information that she has, like a major download. And I enjoyed the book, and I got a lot of beneficial tips and tricks out of it, a lot of good like meditation practices and inner work practices. These are all practices that technically, if any of us took enough time to sit with ourselves and figured out what works for us to do, and then share that with other people, there will be other people who resonate with your frequency and your timeline who would benefit from advice that you give. And I think someone else put it best in one of their videos. She is a businesswoman. She used to sell real estate. She does have like in her DNA, in her like natural physical flesh from her, passed on from her parents, to be hardworking and to want to achieve and to be successful. And so I think she was starting to move a lot towards more of like a business focused mindset. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. My goal was never to become like a very successful businesswoman. I wanted to create things that made a difference here. I wanted to create things that made a change and that supported me in continuing to live a life with more peace, a life with more groundedness, where I didn't feel like I was running in the rat race. But I will say, since last September, October, I've really tried to implement a lot of her stuff hardcore. I was like, okay, I'm going to go all in. And it hasn't necessarily worked the way that I thought it would. And the more I started seeing other people saying they noticed a difference, and then seeing videos I had no idea, like people not feeling they got the value from going to the in-person intensives, and then seeing like more videos, and then reading the Reddit thread, I understood that my struggle with trying to resonate and apply her practices and tactics was simply my own inner tuition, which is what intuition is, inner tuition, tuition meaning teaching. My own inner teaching was letting me know, okay, you don't resonate with her anymore. You got the things you needed from her, now let it go. It's like learning how to let it go. So for me, it was like, okay, I learned the rotational dating. I learned important embodiment practices, inner work practices, things I can share with other women in my life. And I just simply say thank you, Mina Irfan, for what you taught me during the time in which I resonated with you. I no longer do. I wish you the best, and continually grow in your own way, the same way I'm going to do for mine. I feel like a lot of people who probably have invested thousands of dollars, like $30,000. Yes, ma'am. You're fine. 30,000. I'm making a video. $30,000, multiple thousands of dollars to take a course and to go to her intensives. I would understand having a hard time being able to like feel like you haven't in some way been really let down when you haven't seen any of the fruits of all that time and work and energy really play out in your own life, but the person that is giving you this information just continuously is benefiting and you're not. So that I understand, and I couldn't imagine having invested that much monetarily and energetically and in every single way, and then feeling like you have been let down. I would feel that I would have a right to be able to express that without fearing retaliation. But for me, it was simply like just her free content, then her book, and trying things out, seeing what fits. If it fits, it sits. If it doesn't, just let it go. And so for me, it was a lot less like a struggle, but I still wanted to come on here and talk about it because there have been so many videos that I have made where I'm like talking about people that I find on YouTube that I really resonate with, that really like supported me and gave me important aha moments, and I wanted to share that with other people. And now I feel almost like a little irresponsible to have been like, check out the universe guru, check out, That was one of the major people that I was recommending to other women. And I think what I would change about that answer now is simply to say, like, look towards women who have been here way longer than Mina Irfan. Look towards, like, your elders, your ancestors. Look towards those women, like, large figures within history. Look to Mary Magdalene. That's who I've really been working with a lot more now. Look to Esther, look to Ruth, look to women in the Bible, look to Joan of Arc. Look to any kind of woman who is doing something you aspire to do in a way that really aligns with you, that maybe is already like happened here on earth and has gone through all their phases and stages and changes. And look to those people for more of your guidance or support. Or just pray to God, pray to Yeshua, pray in general, pray to your angels, your spirit guides. But don't put too much of your faith and trust in a human and someone who is still growing and still learning and still has her own life lessons that she has to go through and grow through. And I will say that when she started mentioning that she watched, like, I think Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she started mentioning that and watching like some other shows. That's her human side. Like, she calls herself the universe guru, but she still is a human. And those are the human things she likes to do. It's good that she talks about that, because then if you hear that and you're like, oh, I don't resonate with that, that's your sign. Okay, it's not for me anymore. Thank you for our time together. I must continue on. That's what I took it as. And then when she spoke about how she got the surgery for her body, that's another cue for you, if that doesn't resonate with you, that she no longer resonates with you. And there may be other women who come in who resonate with that, and those will be her people. That just simply means that she's not your people anymore, and she's changing and growing in a different direction, just like you are. And that is okay. And I wouldn't expect anybody who met me at the beginning of my YouTube journey to hold me to still being that person, because I've definitely grown in a lot of ways. Grown with integrity, yes, grown with more kindness, more compassion, more self-awareness and realization of my own habits and patterns and flaws. Some people take a little bit longer to get there, and I'm going to close this out kind of adding in a perspective that I think a lot of people don't highlight, that maybe I just have the opportunity to. And that is the fact that Mina Irfan has some placements within her astrological chart, because she's talked about it before. She said that she was Sagittarius with a Virgo moon, and she's a Leo rising. Her rising sign in Leo would mean that her 7th house, I know if you're not into astrology, this won't make a lot of sense, but stick with me. Pluto recently moved out of the sign of Capricorn into Aquarius. Aquarius is opposite the sign of Leo. She is a Leo rising in her 1st house of who she is, her personality, her identity, how she shares who she is. The 7th house is opposite the 1st house, which would be Aquarius. The 7th house is other people, people you work with in business. It's about business partnerships. It's about those one-on-one interactions you have with people. She has that in Aquarius. Pluto, the planet of destruction, the planet of breaking things down, the planet of showing the truth of things, the planet that brings things to light, the planet that's going to show you the dark corners that you don't want to see and make you grow and change them. That planet has moved into her 7th house of her one-on-one relations and her business relations with other people. It is not surprising to me that she is experiencing this right now, with people coming, bringing things to light, Pluto, about things that are broken down, Pluto, and that need to transform, Pluto, in the way she interacts one-on-one with other people and in her business partnerships. And it's just holding her to some more integrity, especially in the sign of Aquarius, which is supposed to be for the collective, which is supposed to be for humanity and collective consciousness and to uplift everyone. It's learning to be less maybe about the Leo, about the self in her rising sign, and learn how herself can also really uplift other people without fearing that doing that is going to make her fall short and lower. That's my astrological perspective of it. And just to add on the side, because I didn't want to speak on her too much, but I also found Awwlexis from watching The Universe Guru. They did a collaboration with one another, and I went on to Awwlexis's channel, and the only thing that I'll really say when it comes to Awwlexis is that I feel that she has probably been just as misled by being a strong student of Mina. And I saw that she was quite involved with Mina for some time and probably learned a lot of the things that she teaches on her channel from Mina. And if you go and watch Alexis's older videos, she's still quite young. She's still learning. Her frontal lobe isn't even fully developed yet. She's still like going through a lot of changes in her own life. But I fear that she may still not really know who she is and is just kind of like regurgitating a lot of the things that she's taught, but hasn't really like lived in it yet. But now that that relationship may be changing and now she's living in a completely different place, she's being exposed to a lot more of like those moments where life is going to bring some hard things to you, but you have a whole following of people who follow you and watch you, and you feel a responsibility to be like, oh no, but look, everything is good. The most important thing that can happen in those moments is that you're honest with the people who are following you and be like, hey, so I like moved over here, but I'm actually really struggling. This is actually really hard. Those are going to be the actual important, authentic moments that Pluto in Aquarius is going to ask a lot of these people who have a large collective of people following them to do. And that's not easy, because when I first started my YouTube channel, I wanted to make it seem like everything was always working out, everything was always okay, look how great this is, and that's just not how life is. And I think it makes a much more potent difference to the people who are following you to be honest enough to say when you're struggling, to, or to be honest enough that once the struggle is over, to talk about it, especially if you don't feel comfortable talking about it while you're in it. But when I look at Awwlexis, I can see like behind her smile and behind like the way her voice emanates, I can feel that behind that there are other things that she wants to say. There are other things that maybe she's feeling that she doesn't know how yet to express to people without fear that they think, oh man, I shouldn't be following her because look. That's not how it goes. People who truly support you and resonate with you and are on your frequency, when they see you going through stuff like that, they want to support you. They want to say, oh my gosh, I've been there, this is what I did, and grow together. That's just my perspective, but I just needed to come on here and talk about this because, like I said, I have said in so many videos, and I don't even know how to find the video specifically where I'm like, you should watch this person and this person. I don't want to just have not spoken about this in a way that at least makes up for all of those moments where I did do that. And seeing how things have changed now, I do not really listen to her content anymore. I do not really look to her for her guidance as much anymore. And that's okay. And for anyone who has come to my channel and then heard me recommend her and then goes to her and she does resonate, great. But if she does not, please leave it. I have learned my lesson as far as when it comes to really recommending someone who is still a human and still growing and changing. And all I can really recommend now is Yeshua, Christ, Mary Magdalene, God, spirit, universe, angels, like those, the ones who have already grown and developed and are here to act as teachers, the greatest teachers for us. So thank you for coming to my little talk. I wish Mina Irfan all the best on her path and her journey. Maybe if she looks into her astrology, she'll understand why all this is happening, because Pluto does not play. I just had Pluto in Capricorn in my rising sign, so I know. And now it's still in my rising sign because I'm also have all of Aquarius in my first house, so I understand, which is why I wanted to speak on it. Thank you for listening to this. I trust you will give the universe guru Mina Irfan grace, as we should all try to give grace to everyone, because we've all been there. We've all had those moments of our ego inflating. We've all had those moments of like wanting to defend what we've built no matter what, because we don't want to admit that something isn't working or it's wrong. Well, I'll just give grace and space and just say thank you for what they taught me and keep it moving. And I recommend that you do the same. I know those of you who have given her a lot of your money, that's going to be a little bit harder to do. And I can only pray and wish that as much as you invested into her, Spirit, God sees that you're trying hard to work and improve on yourself and will bring you the opportunities, the people, and the places and spaces that you need to continue to thrive. And I wish that for everyone who has dedicated so much of their energy and money to her. So thank you for listening. As always, I send you peace. I send you love. Bye.